All right, the first Epic Success podcast interview. We have my man, Mark Yegge. I am Len Giancola. Welcome to the show, everyone. This is our first one. We want to tell you who we are, what the Epic Success podcast is going to be all about. Mark, let's start with the Epic keys. That's basically an acronym for the word epic. That is elevate, prosper, inspire, and collaborate. Go ahead, elevate, Mark. Take that one first. Let's tell everybody what we're all about and get into it.
Absolutely. Well, let's make this fun and let's have a blast. And most of all, let's make our listeners have a blast. Listen, Epic is really a lifestyle. It's a way of being, but we start with elevate. And that means we want to elevate each other, right? And that's what a peer group is about, is bringing each other up to the next level. And we want to continue to elevate our lives in all areas of our lives, our health, our wealth, our relationships, our spirit, our lifestyle. And if we can help each other elevate, when you're challenged to do more and be more, you become more. And that's what Elevate is all about. How about Prosper, Len?
Prosper, yeah. I'm going to tail off Elevate and go right into Prosper because Elevate, some people self-motivate. Some people need others to motivate them. I love having that peer group. People like yourself. Like we elevate each other on a daily basis. We communicate constantly. Now we want to expand that to a group that really helps us up-level our game and lead to prosperity. So prosperity could be financial, prosperity could be health, prosperity could be relationships, and we're going to get into those cornerstones of the group, but just prospering in every avenue of life. Okay, prosper, people think that's always financial, and it's not. It just means having that epic lifestyle in a well-rounded fashion, and I just want to take whatever level I'm at right now and make it here, meaning up a level by tomorrow or the next week or whatever.
Yeah, absolutely. And the next one is inspires. We want to inspire each other to do more, to be more, to have more, and to really live the life that we deserve to live, or that we're meant to live. Life is better when you're getting inspired and when you're seeing people that are doing things that maybe you haven't even seen, or maybe you don't know what you don't know, and then you can live into that just by being inspired by somebody else's lifestyle or the way they're doing things, or just best practices in certain things. So we want to inspire each other, and you inspire me, Len, for sure.
Thanks, ditto, my man. And inspiration is something that I've always taken a liking to, meaning when I see someone succeeding at a high level, whether it's a corporate executive that you see on TV, like a Jeff Bezos or Bill Gates or whoever it may be, I don't get jealous of those people, even if it's an athlete or anyone in the public eye. I never get jealous of that.
Yeah.
I never get jealous of a peer that maybe is doing better than me. It inspires me and motivates me to want more. And not in a revenge sort of way, but in a way that fulfills me to try and get to that next level that we're going to keep talking about. So I love inspiration. Is a huge deal for me. It's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, good. And then finally, what we do is we collaborate. So what that means to me is that we work together to help each other become more. And, I'm not an expert in everything, and you're not an expert in everything, but we come together and we share ideas. And maybe we even do business together, or we go on trips together. We collaborate. We put things together. When Think and Grow Rich was written by Napoleon Hill about 100 years ago, he studied the top successful people at the time. He was commissioned by Andrew Carnegie, the big steel magnate, to go out and figure out what was common in all these successful people. And one of the things that he learned about was something called masterminding, or a mastermind group. And it's when you take two like-minded individuals and you put those minds together, you create a third mind. And I don't know about you, Len, but when I'm working with somebody that is on the same page as me, when I'm collaborating with them, we're doing something on a project, that project just gets better because it's a pitch and catch. And one idea might lead to the next one, and that might lead to the breakthrough. So collaborating to me is really bringing a lot of things together with our group, the Epic Mastermind group, and with each other on an individual basis. So we collaborate to inspire each other and to do more.
And it's like having your own advisory board or board of directors, right? So if you have a new venture you're getting into in whatever part of your life, let's use business for now. If you're getting into a new business venture, maybe you don't have that person that you need to just, bounce that off of. And now all of a sudden you have a group or even a part of our group, a select few guys that maybe you can bounce that idea off, and people that are not afraid to tell you the good and the bad about the venture, to give you unlock that piece of your mind that maybe has been, writer's block almost in your head while you're trying to create something. And I love having that and having it basically for free, as opposed to having to bring people and give up equity in your venture to get that advice. Now you have it as part of your peer group, which is pretty cool.
One more thing on that is, and not that this is a business networking group per se, it's really a life networking group. But at some point, you're going to start to trust the guys. You're going to learn to trust the people that you're around. These are your like minded peers. And you might start doing some business together. And how cool is it that you've already built that level of trust rather than having to figure that out as you start business? You've already got a basis for that level of trust. You don't necessarily have to do business with them. But if you do, you've already built that level of trust. You know they're your peeps, and you know you can build from there. So I think that's kind of a cool concept.
That's huge, especially in today's world where trust is a big factor. It's nice to know that you can really bounce things off people and get genuine and accountable feedback, which is really important.
Absolutely. So that's EPIC. EPIC is basically what we're talking about here, this EPIC lifestyle that we're putting together. And everybody needs a place. Everybody needs a tribe. Everybody needs a peer group. And especially during these times in the last year or so where we've had a lot of people holed up in their homes, we haven't had a lot of community. And I think men need their own community, especially with like-minded men. Women might need their own community as well. I think it's important. And then we can all bring the best of the best and come together and live our lives. So that's what EPIC is about: elevate, prosper, inspire, and collaborate. But we also have 5 cornerstones that we kind of mold things around. And so let's talk about those, Len, so that the listeners and the watchers, the viewers can figure out what we're doing and what we're about. So what we do is we want to live an epic life. That's really the ultimate thing. And maybe you don't know what you don't know in what that means, but you're going to be exposed to that and you can live into that. So let's start with the first cornerstone, and that is financial freedom. So when I say financial freedom, what does that mean to you in the EPIC context that we have here?
Well, I'll tell you what, we're recording this in January of 2021. And after the last year that we've all gone through, everyone's gone through, financial freedom has become super important in my life and for a lot of people that I know, because when certain things get taken away from you, do you still have that freedom and that financial ability to survive and thrive in whatever the world may throw at you? So before 2020, financial freedom just meant, did I have enough passive income to support my lifestyle independent of my main active income stream? So if you had a job, if the job went away, did you have enough passive income or other income streams that supported your lifestyle? That exponentially increased in the past year because a lot of people did lose certain income streams. Did you have enough ready to go that still stayed active, passively active, during this pandemic or what may come about in the future? None of us know what's going to happen over the next few years. And that's something that I really concentrated on before anything hit, just in case something hit. Nobody knew it would be this. But now I've tried to thrive in that environment, and I've done so. And I'm sure in future episodes we'll get into details of that. But financial freedom really can ease your stress and peace of mind when the world throws something unexpected at you.
And they say, money doesn't make you happy. But I always say, I tag on the end of that, but it sure makes things a heck of a lot easier when you have it.
Yeah.
And if you don't have it, it creates a huge amount of stress. It's the number one cause of divorce is disagreements around money or the lack of it. And so we can't push it under the rug and be utopian and be like Gandhi, for example, and say that it doesn't matter, because it does matter. In our society, in our paradigm, in our system, you've got to have money to exist. And if you figure out the concept around it, which we're going to talk about a lot in this podcast, if you figure out the concept, you master the concept, you start to work towards passive income. But it's not just passive income per se. It's, are you ready for the challenges that you have in your life that come up because of whatever came up? This year we had a pandemic, but next year it could be something else. Maybe you lose an income stream. We have a real estate crash, a stock market crash, a treasury market crash, a gold crash, whatever it is. Are you ready in that? And do you have enough situational awareness to be able to master it? So that's really a critical component.
Yeah, that dives right into the next cornerstone, which is health, right? So we're combining the two over this last year of crazy stuff going on. Are you one of the people that have these underlying ailments because you didn't take care of yourself? Some of it's bad breaks, but some of it, did you have your body in tip-top shape? Did you have your mind and physical well-being in tip-top shape, where if you do contract something like COVID, can you withstand it? There's a lot of studies that you see, and who knows what's right and what's wrong these days, but there's a lot of people that are healthy, that are just asymptomatic or just knocking it out in a few days. And there are people that maybe weren't in the best shape that are just getting knocked on their ass. And which one do you want to be?
Yeah. And that's on the proactive, make sure that you're healthy part of it. But there's also the part of it that, are you creating the energy and the vitality to live an epic life through your health practices? Are you waking up in the morning and working out? Are you having the right foods? Are you having foods that bring you down? Are you not moving your body in order to get that blood flow moving so that you feel alive? Because when you feel alive, it permeates all aspects of your life. You have more energy in your relationships, in your business, and other parts of your life. And when you're not, it takes away from it. So we want to make sure that we're focusing on health, because I don't know if you've ever had an injury. I know you've had a wrist injury of late. Every once in a while, get a foot injury. And I'll tell you, when your foot doesn't work, it affects everything. Like, you can't go walk, you can't go upstairs, you can't go work out, and you're thinking about it because there's pain coming from your foot. Imagine the other organs in your body, the other parts of your body, if they're not healthy, how it brings everything down. And if they are healthy, you can really focus on energy and vitality. So health is important.
Yeah, everything starts with health, right? Because all of the other cornerstones, you can't even tackle any of them if you're not feeling great. And when you're not feeling great, like you said, can you adapt? Can you figure out a way? Do you ever wake up and just feel blah? I'm just going to go sit on the couch today. I'm not going to do anything. But if you can force yourself to go do a workout or just go out for a walk or do anything active, your whole mindset just naturally changes, even though you thought you couldn't have that type of day. And are you strong enough to get through that? And I think that's huge.
Specifically in health, the difference between successful people and unsuccessful people is successful people do what they have to do when they have to do it, whether they feel like it or not. And sometimes you have to have the mental ferocity to be able to push yourself to the next level. And we're going to focus on health. We're going to bring in experts about health. We're going to talk about it. And it's going to be important. We're not going to bombard you with a ton of health stuff, but we want to make sure that it's top of mind, because without it, it's the other things really don't mean as much.
And once again, that leads into the next cornerstone, relationships, right? If you're unhappy, you're not feeling great, that spreads to people in your household or people in your inner circle. Do you want to be a positive influence or a negative influence on a daily basis with these people? And, not just yourself. So how can you translate those feelings of, number one, we talk financial freedom, monetary financial stress, getting rid of that, health stress, getting rid of that, and then going into a relationship where you can concentrate on having those amazing relationships, whether it's your spouse, whether it's someone you're dating, whether it's your children, whether it's your parents, whoever it is, you emanate a certain energy. And if you can have those first two conquered, your relationships will prosper as well. I don't know if you've seen that in your life. I know I've seen that in my life.
Absolutely, because we're an antenna. We attract what we put out. And so if we're constantly putting out something really cool, like an antenna, we're going to be able to attract that back, because that's kind of going to resonate at that same frequency of who we are. And so in relationships, it's not just the people in your family, the people around you, it's your peer group, also your business relationships. And there are certain keys that you need to understand in order to have great relationships. You know what? Surrounding all of this, Len, I want to just take a second and say, we don't teach people the things they need to learn to live an epic life in school. And so I know you and I agree on this, but we certainly don't teach people how to have good relationships. We don't teach people how to talk to each other, how to meet each other's needs on a higher level. We just kind of figure it out. We might figure it out from our big brother or somebody we dated in high school. And we just kind of figure out by trial and error what we like. We're going to want in this podcast to talk about some of these things in relationships that can make your relationships better. Because one of the things I always say is that a great relationship can magnify your life. It can magnify the great things you're doing. And so if you're having a lot of success in business, now you get to come home and share it with somebody, and it magnifies it so much more. If you're on a trip, if you're with somebody that you enjoy being on that trip with, it magnifies the experience. You remember those memories. So we want to focus on the things that we're not taught in all of these cornerstones, but especially in relationships, because it's something that's so neglected and it causes people so much pain. In one of my other mastermind groups, I realized that, we all thought we were going to resonate around money and we were going to help each other, do business better and everything like that. But then at the end of the day, you realize that people have a lot of pain when it comes to their relationships, and a lot of it's avoidable pain, Len. So we want to get away from that avoidable pain and replace it with some really great, pleasurable moments in our relationships, in our lives.
Absolutely. Absolutely. All right. So let's talk. What's next, Mark? Confidence.
Woohoo!
Huge. This was huge for me. You go first. Then I'll tell a story of when I was younger and how confidence changed my life.
I want to hear that. So just a quick thing about confidence. Listen, if you're certain, so there's a lot of special needs that we have in our lives, right? Certainty and variety are two critical needs that we each have in our lives, but we need to figure out what the proportion is. But one of the things that makes you successful, one of the things that makes your life good is by having confidence. Now, you can borrow confidence from someone and you can build confidence in yourself. And so I think that's a critical component of what we're doing is having confidence to move forward in your life. Maybe you will make a mistake, but at least you're moving, right? You can always change course after you make that direction. So we talk about confidence around all of these other cornerstones in our life, but I want to hear your story.
Yeah, and it might be a silly story to other people, but this was a moment in my life that changed the way I acted and believed in myself. So I was only 12 years old, and the Little League World Series, right? You see these baseball teams going, trying to get to the Little League World Series. So I was on one of those all-star teams, and there was a decision by the manager who was going to start the big game for our regional championship. And it was between me and this other kid. And this other kid was cocky, arrogant. He threw fast, and I was more of a finesse pitcher, but I was just as good as him, just a different way. But I was really quiet and shy. And they chose the other kid to pitch. His name was Ronnie. He pitched. He got bombed in the first inning. They brought me in. I pitched a 2-hit shutout the rest of the way.
Wow.
We could have kept going. We lost the game 5-4 because he gave up 5 runs in the first inning, and I kept us in the game, but we still lost. But maybe if I had the confidence to start that game, who knows what that could have led to? Could it have led to more talent and more eyeballs on me to pursue that type of career in the future? I don't know. And I'll never know because I didn't have that confidence. And from that day, even at a young age, I said to myself, that's never happening to me again.
Nice.
And then I started even if I had to fake it for a while and fake that I was comfortable in a situation and confident, then that bred it being reality, becoming reality. And then from then on, my life just elevated rather quickly into my young adult years, into my 20s, 30s, 40s, and it just skyrocketed from there. And I always look back to that moment of don't let that feeling happen again. Walk in like you own the room and figure out how you can own that room. And I've done that since then.
Wow. That's interesting. I always say you can borrow confidence from somebody else. We're not experts in everything in our lives, but you know what? We want to surround ourselves, and that's what this mastermind group is about, is surround ourselves with people that are experts or really good at things that they do in their specific areas of life. And then if we have to step into that area of life, maybe it's investing in the stock market or real estate or whatever it is, you can borrow the experience, which will give you the confidence to move forward, to even try, but to succeed because you've got somebody behind you or you've got a model to use and you can borrow that confidence. So I think that's a really interesting concept. It's almost the fake it till you make it that you alluded to, but borrowing the confidence.
Especially when you're young or you're a beginner in something. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah, you don't know. We're all just trying to figure this life out anyway, right?
Yep.
So that leads to the last thing. The last thing is lifestyle. And so basically lifestyle for me puts everything together that we've already talked about. All the EPIC keys, it talks about the cornerstone, and it brings everything together into an EPIC lifestyle. So everyone has a different lifestyle parameter that they want to live to. So our job, I think, is to expose people to different lifestyles. So let me just talk a little bit about my lifestyle and maybe you can talk about yours. I've been an unconventional guy pretty much all my life, as you know. I've come from a long line of entrepreneurs. My father was an entrepreneur. My grandfather was an entrepreneur, and probably everybody before that was an entrepreneur because there weren't corporations. But that has basically been an inspiration in a way that I live my life. It's not good for everyone. But a few years ago, like 5 years ago now, I made a decision. I made a decision that I want to be location independent. What I did was I shifted my entire life from being, stuck in a house that I was making payments on. It was a nice house on the water in Florida. And, I had a really great life. But I just felt a little bit enslaved to that lifestyle that I was living. So I decided that that wasn't for me, that I wanted to make a shift in lifestyle. And I wanted to live at really cool places around the world and hang out with really, really cool people. And that's why I hang out with you. And so, once this travel stuff gets opened back up, we're going to go around the world and we're going to hang out with people that we like to hang out with. And I think that's what it's about for me. So I get to travel, experience the world, learn new cultures, new languages, get to meet new people. And for me, I get to work on my laptop. And for me, this whole thing is my lifestyle. I just went got back from Costa Rica. I experienced my first surf lesson, and I love to learn. So that's my lifestyle. Just go someplace, I work there, and then I learn there and immerse myself in the culture, enjoy the food, the people, and the cultures. So, but that's not everybody's lifestyle. Some people really like having a nest, and they like building something in a community. I think you're a little bit more like that than I am, but I know that you like to travel. So why don't you talk a little bit about your lifestyle preferences, knowing that the two of us have maybe different lifestyles than a lot of other people that are listening, and that's okay.
Yeah, absolutely. I've never been normal or conventional myself either, even though, I'm married with the 2 kids and living in a gated community and play golf and that, I'm that guy now, right? But I wasn't always that guy, and I don't plan to always be that guy. So I like to change. I like to change constantly. Like I have, ADD of lifestyle, if you will, where I get bored quickly and I want to keep rolling to something exciting. I started my career on Wall Street, as you know, but I only did that for 12 years. I knew I wasn't going to do it for 30 or 40 years. Then I jumped into something completely foreign to me, custom home building, vacation rentals, and I did that for 10 years. And I knew that I was only going to do it for 10 years. Then I jumped into, the online technology platforms that I'm doing now that I never thought I would have done 20 years ago. And now I'll do that for a few years. And then what's next? You know what I mean? Like, you and I talk about, spending time in another country, right? You spent time in Greece. I want to spend time in Italy, whatever it may be. That's my next phase. So even though I have, I'm married 25 years, I've got 2 teenage daughters. We have an amazing family dynamic. We're all best friends. It's awesome. I and us want to do crazy things together and separate, right? So, like before craziness hit the world, I'd go away with my friends and do crazy things. My wife would go away with her friends and do fun things.
Yeah.
Kids, same thing. Now we're figuring out what's the next phase. So I don't have 10-year plans or 20-year plans for anything. I just roll with the punches and figure out what's going to be exciting for us and how our lifestyle could be amazing tomorrow.
That's awesome. And so I think at the end of the day, we're not telling anybody how to live their life. We're giving people maybe that model that we talked about, that confidence that we talked about, that inspiration, because we want to inspire people. And we're going to try to bring some of these different lifestyle choices to the forefront. And we're going to talk about them. And we're going to talk about the programming that we have in society. We're going to talk about the BS that we're taught and how we're taught by the environment. And maybe you can think a little bit different ways. So in EPIC, we're going to show you that there's lots of ways to live your EPIC life. And we're going to give you the different tools to be able to go after that for yourself. Hopefully elevate you, become part of a peer group, just learn from us, learn from each other, and inspire each other along the way. And so that's what really this is all about. And our mastermind group is really going to be the peer group that supports us in what we're trying to do here.
Yep, perfectly said. I'm so excited to share future episodes, whether it's just us spitballing on topics, whether it's us having a really awesome guest or members of our mastermind group on this podcast. It's going to be a lot of fun. We really thank everyone for checking out the intro episode, and there'll be plenty more to come, and I hope you all enjoy it. We're definitely excited about it, and we will see everyone next time on the Epic Success Podcast.
Just be epic.